does Jesus being our substitute, how does it actually work? What is actually accomplished through Jesus at the cross? What actually happens? Well, the first term that we find is being justified. So step out of your everyday life and now step foot into a court of law where you have a jury and you have the attorneys, and this is the world of being justified. It's the legal world. And all that has been heard is that the jury has heard is that you're guilty. You have done this wrong act, this evil act. Even your good stuff is seen as and falls short. And the jury comes back after deliberating for an hour, and their judgment is guilty. But there is a judge because of Jesus Christ. God the Father doesn't pronounce you guilty. He says you're not guilty. He slams the gavel down. This is what being justified means. He uses another word as well. He uses the word redemption. It says in verse 24 that they are justified by his grace as a gift through the redemption that's in Christ Jesus. Okay? Step out of the courtroom and now go to your favorite commercial store. Step into the retail world where you want to buy something that you need. And in order to get that, you have to pay money to get what you want. You step into the retail world. Exactly what redemption is describing. Except, here's what happens. It's not the retail world, it's the prison, where you are guilty in your sin. Through the work of Christ, through Jesus, you are bought as his own people and set. The prison gates are flung wide open. The front of the prison, you just walk right out because the Father pronounces you free. You're free. Now we get to this third term, verse 25. And this really describes how are you actually declared not guilty? How is this possible? How are you set free from your prison? Through the blood of Christ. What actually happens? This is the word propitiation. Verse 25, God put Jesus forward as a propitiation by his. So in the last several weeks, what Paul has been emphasizing is a holy God condemns you because you're guilty. You cannot look the other way. It would be unjust for God to let any of you into heaven because you're guilty. By But then Paul describes propitiation, which is the wrath of God is satisfied. See, this is the whole idea of Jesus being your substitute, and your substitute, and your substitute, and yours. For all of us, Jesus is our substitute, meaning you were supposed to take God's wrath and be sent to him. But instead, Jesus Christ satisfies God's wrath in you. It's completely satisfied. God's wrath must